Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about the battle system, why positioning matters, and how the AI works in the game. So as you might have noticed, outside of the normal campaign, you get the same cards every time. So in today's video, we're just going to focus on a 4-man team. I'll make videos on the larger format teams for Guild Lab and Advent, but now we'll just focus on the basics. So just to make life easier, we're going to name this position, position 1, this one position 2, this one position 3, and then finally this one position 4. So depending on where you place your units, they will actually get a different amount of cards corresponding to the position that they are in. So in position 1, they'll be getting 2 cards, position 2 will get 2 as well, position 3 will get 3 cards, and then position 4 will only get 1 card. And now we'll just test it out just to prove that this is correct. So Kaiser's in position 1 and she has 2 cards, Max Level is in position 2 and he also has 2 cards, Bomb is in position 3 so he has 3 cards, and Risel's in position 4 so he has 1 card. Now we'll just switch the positions around just to show you guys that this is actually right. As you can see here, Bomb is in position 1 so he has 2 cards, Risel's in position 2 so he has 2 as well, Kaiser's in position 3 so she sticks with 3, and Max Level is in position 4 so he has 1. As you might have noticed, all the cards are in the same order for each position. So as you can see, the first card is always position 3, then it's position 1, and then 2, and then 3 again, and then finally position 4. And then it'll keep going in that order. So position 1 with Bomb, position 2 with Risel, and then position 3 with Kaiser. Just for more testing, we're just going to use everybody's single skill, and then we'll see the order of the cards that will come next. Well, that was the typical Hero Cantare PvP disconnect. So let's start all over again. So we'll just use everybody's skill 1. So as you can see, it follows a certain order every single time. So outside of normal story mode, everything is fixed. So we have again Kaiser at position 3, Max Level at position 4, Bomb at position 1, Risel at position 2, and it starts again with Kaiser. While this doesn't matter too much for automated PvP, this actually matters a lot for things like Guild Lab, where you want to maximize as much damage as you can get. Obviously there's RNG with the enemy's cards, but your cards will always stay the same. But that will be another video in the future. So now you're probably wondering, after you've chosen your skills, how does the game decide on which unit goes first, you or the enemy? And the way the system figures this out is with the speed stat. Whoever has the faster speed between you and the opponent will go first. As you can see from this example, no matter who I choose, my opponent's Risel will always be faster because he has the higher speed. I still need to do some proper testing on how speed works for the rest of the team. I'm not too sure if you could actually use 4 of your unit skills in a row, or if there's some sort of weird cap or speed tuning depending on which units go first, second, or third on your team. But for first turn purposes, the person with the highest speed will always go first. Now we will be talking about the aggro and how it works in this game. The most important thing you need to know is that if the opponent's skills does not have a modifier targeting the units in the back, the units with the highest HP, the lowest HP, or anything like that, it will always hit position 1. Here's an experiment to show you guys how the aggro system works. We will be on map 2025 where the boss has no attack modifiers, so the only person it can actually attack is Bomb. Now let's test it out. As you can see here, the only person it's attacking is Bomb. Now we want to test who it will attack after Bomb. Now the target switched to position 2. And then next to position 3, and then finally position 4. Now let's test that again just to make sure. It targets Choco BB first, and then Risel, and then Sierra, and then finally Lunark. So with this information, you could set up your team accordingly depending on the skills of the enemies for each map type. For chapters like 17, the opponents tend to attack 2 units or the backline. So in this case scenario, you want to put your units in a specific order where you can take the least amount of damage per hit. Now let's talk about the AI and how it works and how you can use it to your advantage. So the way the AI works is that it prioritizes the skills from left to right, though it will always prioritize making a skill into a 3-chain first. So if we're going to put that to work here, if all the skills were on, Kaiser would use her skill 3 first, followed by Bomb skill 2, and then Risel's skill 2, and then finally Max Level Warrior's skill 1. Now we'll put it on auto. But as most of you know, we tend to customize our own skills, turning off the skills that we don't want them to use. So now I'll show you how the AI works with that. This way, we're going to take Kaiser's skill 3 off, we're going to take Ryzel's skill 2 off, and then let's go from there. So normally Kaiser would use her skill 3, but we've disabled it, so she will go onto her skill 2 first, followed by Bomb's skill 2, and then we've disabled Ryzel's skill 2, so he will actually skip the skill and fuse the card so he could use skill 3 in the next turn. So as you can see, the AI will always prioritize fusing cards even if it can't use them for that turn, and then at the end it will use max level skill 1. So now you're asking, how can you use this to your advantage? So knowing that position 3 will always go first, you want to set up the skill that you want to use at the very beginning on position 3. So let's say you wanted to use your Machete's stun at the very beginning, you'll put her on skill 3. You don't need to turn off any of her cards because she'll automatically use her skill 3 right away. I like to focus my team around max level warrior, so I like to put him on position 2 with his second skill disabled. As you'll see later on, he'll use his skill 3 right away on the second round, just because when I face teams of similar combat power, they will usually have so much damage that my max level will be really low HP. So let's go test it out now. So right now, as you can see, we use Machete's skill 3 first, followed by Bomb's S2, and then Ryzel's S1. As you can see from the skill order, we have max level warriors on the left hand side. So the AI will naturally combine that into a 3 chain, and then followed by Ryzel, and then Bomb, and then Machete. And the last thing we'll talk about is mana. In a team of 4, you'll always start off with 6 out of 8 points. Using your unit's chain 1 skill costs 0 mana to use, but if you want to fuse to use your chain 2, it ends up costing 1 mana, like so. And if you want to use a unit's chain 3, you'll end up expending another 2 mana on top of that, so you will use a total of 3 mana. So after fusing the cards, we end up with 1 point of mana left. And then let's end our turn from there. As you can see, every turn we gain an additional 2 mana, and this is always going to be constant. So as you can see, the next turn started, we gain another 2. Now we'll talk about how much mana a unit adds. Each character on your team contributes 2 pieces of mana. Now let's see what happens when a character dies on your team. So right now we only have 4 mana, and then on turn 2 we still gain 2 mana, but now our max cap, instead of 8, has lowered down to 6. Now it's lowered down to 4, but as you can see, we're still getting 2 mana every round, so that doesn't change at all. Only the maximum amount of mana and maximum amount of skills we could do per turn are the only things that get affected from unit deaths. So now that I have 2 units, I could only use 2 skills per turn. And that's about it for the basics, guys. I'll be making more in-depth guide on the larger team formats like Guild Lab and Advent bosses, so please feel free to wait for those. But hopefully you learned something about the battle system and the AI in Hero Cantare. If you guys want to join me on Twitch, I stream 6 days a week. My Twitch is www.twitch.tv/dancedark. So feel free to come and hang out, ask questions, or just generally chill. So if I don't see you guys there, I'll catch you guys in my next video.